Picture this with me. You're standing at the starting line, right, of a long, winding journey. The road ahead is unfamiliar. Yeah, it's with its twists and turns. You can't see it yet. And when you go to lace up your shoes, you take a deep breath and you start walking. At first, you feel it's manageable. Okay, this is doable. I can make this. You tell yourself, I got this. Step by step, you push forward. But then all of a sudden, fatigue sets in. Doubt creeps in. Each stride feels heavier than the last. And just when you're ready to stop, you hear it. You hear footsteps, not your own, but somebody else's. That somebody else, a mentor, offering wisdom and guidance for the battles you have yet to fight. A peer matching your pace and your energy, pushing you to keep going. A young brother looking up to you, reminding you that your journey is bigger than yourself. Now listen, sometimes those footsteps aren't always gentle. Sometimes you get a brother that shows up huffing and puffing saying, bruh, I almost didn't make it out here, but I came anyway because it's you. And that's when you realize that's half the battle, just showing up. And it hits you. You were never meant to walk this road alone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'm Anthony Brown. As Peter said, I am from the Cleveland Metropolitan School District, amongst other things. Usually, if you follow me on our CMSD social media, I call myself the CMSD family guy. I always tell my young people when I'm talking to them, I used to get in trouble for talking too much. Now I get paid to talk. So I turn my passion into my purpose and my purpose into my paycheck. Now somebody gonna get that by midnight. Now let me talk about redefining brotherhood. Why we're here today, the power of brotherhood. The word, often men are told that we should go through this all alone, by ourselves. We can manage it, tough it out, carry the weight in silence. But to be real, and the real strength of it all, the real healing doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in community. Now, you heard some brothers talk about community earlier. Brotherhood isn't just about friendship. It's about accountability. It's about vulnerability. It's about showing up when it matters the most. Now, through these shared experiences and stories, these sacred bonds, that's when we have this iron sharpens iron. We discover what's possible when men stop competing against each other and we start connecting with one another. Now, I believe there are three types of men that you should have, or three types of relationships you should have in your life. One, you need to have a Paul, a mentor, someone who's going to pour wisdom into you. A Barnabas, your colleague, a peer who's going to walk right beside you. And then a Timothy, somebody who you can pour into. Now, let me give you a little context. Now, for those who, I got my good pastor over here, for those Bible scholars, and for, this is not to make up for you missing church on tomorrow. But if you miss Bible study on Wednesday, Pastor, I got you. I'm going to help you out a little bit. Paul is a seasoned leader and a mentor and a teacher who guided others on their journey. His wisdom shaped an entire community. Now, that's the kind of wisdom and mentor that we need in our lives. Someone who sees further than we do and calls us higher. The next kind of person, Barnabas. On the other hand, known as the son of encouragement. He walked beside Paul as a partner and as a peer, a friend in the work, so to speak, okay? He was a reminder that none of us can go through this alone. We can't do it by ourselves. We need those brothers in the trenches who understand us, who challenges us, who celebrates us. And then we need a Timothy. He was a young man Paul mentored and encouraged and raised us as a leader. Now that's our responsibility as men in the room, to pour into someone coming after us, to lift the next generation so they can go further than where we did. Now, when I look at my own life, there are times when I was growing up, both personally and professionally, I realized that I could not stand here today without having these three types of relationships in my life. Now, let me show you my own Pauls, my own Barnabas, and my own Timothys who are in my life. My Paul. Now, this is to my got on the slides. Yeah, you can keep going. Next one. Next one. Next one. There we go. My Paul. My daddy. My father. Sumler Harris. Now, we had our growing pains. It wasn't always easy. It wasn't, because I was the other child. I was that, wherever Papa was a rolling stone, yeah, I was that other child. But nonetheless, I still learned some things from him in the growing pains. And he taught me perseverance and resilience and integrity. And he saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself. And I remember one of the greatest lessons my father told me, besides the fact when he told me, I need you to live your life with no regrets. He said, son, if you can't dazzle them with your brilliance, I need you to baffle them with your BS. If you can't dazzle them with your brilliance, baffle them with your BS. I said, Now what I heard him say was, stay ready. You may never know when you may be called to do something great, and that something might even save somebody's life, and it might even be your own. My daddy told me one day, listen, do you want your son to take care of you like you taking care of us? Because I was the caregiver for my mother and my father. And I said, no. He said, if that's the case, I need you to get your life right. I stand before you now. If you had known me, if you knew me then, you would have known that I used to be 450 pounds. And I was headed down that same path of health disparities like my parents were. But I had to, that was the light bulb for me. He said, I need you to do something about that. I'm a whole lot better than what I was. I can stand here now and say I'm 160 pounds from 450. Man. So I had to save my life first. All right, and I think about somebody else. You can go to the next slide. Think about some other men. So I think about my pastor, my former pastor, the late Reverend George Q. Brown, who was my faith mentor, right? I think about my professor in college out there, Johnson Akinley, who was my professor at Bethune-Cookman, who went on to be the president of North Carolina Central University, who provided me, gave me that leadership opportunity when I was in school. Now, these Pauls helped me see further. They saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Now, my Barnabas. You also need your peers, right? You need your friends. Those ones who are going to walk with you side by side. I mean, I had friends like my friend Brian, who I met since kindergarten, who was there always pushing me. I had my fraternity brother Robert in college, who used to encourage me and open my eyes to new perspectives. Then I had my other fraternity brother, Clifford, who we kind of lived our lives in the 20s and 30s together, had our children together. We got married around the same time. We got divorced around the same time. So we went through it all. Then I had my other fraternity brothers and lodge brothers, who was always there to check me, to let me know when I'm right and celebrate, and when I was wrong, they were right there with me. Listen, we all need a Barnabas in our lives, someone who gets it. Someone who's in the trenches with us. Someone who will say, we listen and we don't judge. Or Someone that says, bruh, I told you not to mess with her in the first place, but I got your back. But let's be real. Your Barnabas is usually that guy who calls you out the blue and say, what's wrong? Before you even said a word, he already knows just to call you and just check in on you, because he just knows. Now, my Timothys, this is my man-child right here. This is my one and only. This is my heartbeat. This is my predecessor right here. This is my 28-year-old who lives in New York City, who every so often I still get a text message that says, hey, Dad. And when I get that text message, I know it's going to cost me something. Yet, he reminds me daily, it's not just because he's a professional artist. Not because he won awards here locally at Cleveland State in the Karamu House and went to Yale on a full ride. But he always has to remind me, Dad, I need you to still remember that you got to support the arts. So I'm your local art fund. Okay, yes, I got you. But he reminds me daily that I love our conversations about life, about health, about our future, and how we're going to take care of things, and how I can share even my own things. Like now, my son has access to my chart, because I need to make sure he knows everything about me, because I don't want any problems. And one day, I hope to be able to pass it on. With everything I've learned, I can pass it on to him. Like I said, and as long as he stays curious about the world, his possibilities are endless. Another Timothy in my life, I just talked to this brother this morning. He lives in Bahrain now with his son and his wife, Brother Odell. Him and I started off, he was an aspiring administrator in CMSD, and I was one of his mentor teachers and advisors. And when I first met him, he was just getting started. He was eager. He was hungry to learn. And over time, our relationship shifted. He went from being a Timothy to now he's a Barnabas in my life. He's a peer. We talk almost daily. The time difference is a challenge because, he called me at 7 o'clock in the morning like, bro, I'm still asleep. He's like, it's the middle of the day for me. I understand. But I love the fact that the power of brotherhood, we are able to pour into others. And one day, we can stand by each other. So, but here's the thing. There's a crisis going on. And that is not just an emotional issue. The crisis talks about the fact that here's the reality. There was a survey by an organization called Movember Foundation, which is a global men's health charity. And they said that they found that nearly 1 in 3 men say they have no close friends to confide in. Think about this. Just to the men in the room. There are some brothers carrying battles, issues, concerns, depression, loneliness, despair, and they have nobody to talk to. Nobody to walk beside them. And I know what some of you all may be thinking, no, that's not me. Now, that couldn't be me. I got plenty of friends. But if I ask your plenty of friends, would you be in their top 5? Are you on their speed dial? And it's not just an emotional issue. It's a health issue. It's a legacy issue. When men disconnect, entire families and communities feel the weight. I was so excited when we did the annual 20th anniversary Father's Walk a couple of weeks ago here in the county, led by the Fatherhood Initiative. In CMSD, we had about we got about 100 schools. About 98 of our schools participated in Father's Walk, and we celebrated all of these men, father figures, who are engaged, who are connected, who want to be involved, who want to say, I'm either going to stand in the gap and be there so we can break the chains of despair and let our children know, I'm here for you. That's why brotherhood isn't optional. It's life-giving. So here's my call to action. So how do we live out loud with no regrets? Brothers, if you remember nothing else that I've said today, remember these 3 words: connect, reflect, and support. Even for those who are in the room right now, come on and say that with me. Connect, reflect, and support. Now, this has been my challenge to myself and to others in what I call inspire me moments. Oh, go figure. How about that? As Sam just said, I wrote a book. It dropped Father's Day weekend. And I talk all about the journey and the process. Finding those everyday moments and opportunities to choose connection, courage, and purpose. So connect. How can you reach somebody today? Who can you call right now? Who can you text right now? Who can you reach out to right now? That connection starts with you. You can't wait for somebody else to do it. It's your responsibility. Reflect. Ask yourself, who is my Paul? Who is my Barnabas? Who is my Timothy? Am I showing up for them in the way I should? If not today, when? Lastly, support. Look around. Who needs to listen, encourage, or show up? Brotherhood isn't just about what you gain, it's about what you give. Are you ready to stand and give it your all? Now let's go back. Now earlier, again when I started, we talked about that opening image, being on the open road, tired, uncertain, about to throw in the towel. But you hear those footsteps, right? And you realize you are not alone. Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Brothers, success is not a solo journey. It's one we take together, and that is what we can start doing today. Now, this summit today is more than just keynotes and breakout sessions or health screenings. And it's about sharpening one another. It's about the mind, the body, and the spirit. So here's my challenge. Don't let today be about just taking notes and collecting handouts. Lean in, ask questions, exchange numbers. Take advantage of every resource in the room, because the true power of the summit and the true power of brotherhood is not what happens in the sessions. It's what we choose to carry out when we leave this place, when we get back to our families, when we talk in our communities, and we plan for our future. So let's commit today, like right now, to live healthier, fuller lives. Let's commit to brotherhood. Let's commit to leaving here sharper than we arrived. And as you go through the day, I hope you will create your own inspire me moments, because what we do today can echo for a lifetime. Now listen, that is the true power of brotherhood, and that's the opportunity of today. So brothers and sisters, thank you. And thank you for walking with me in this journey this morning. Remember that the power of brotherhood is about the opportunity of today. Now, if you don't just want to be part of the moment and you want to be part of the movement, join me later on today. I'll be doing a breakout session in one of those sessions, in one of the rooms around 11:30. We can continue the conversation. You know, we'll be leading an inspired conversation. and lunch and learn. So you grab your lunch and come on in and just have a conversation with us. Let's break bread, share some stories, build something special while we're saving lives. And throughout the day, if you're able to stop by the table, come. Pick up the book, take a photo, say hello. Let's keep sharpening each other, because when we begin in this room, can echo what we do beyond today. Thank you.